Buying land for a tiny home? What you need to know. Buying land for a tiny home sounds like the ultimate dream. A secluded plot of paradise, a space that's completely yours, and a tiny castle where you call all the shots. But here's the truth. Land isn't tiny home ready just because it's a few acres of dirt. There are zoning laws, utility hookups, access challenges, and hidden costs lurking behind that perfect Instagram photo of rolling hills or a lakeside view. If you rush into buying land without knowing the realities, your dream could turn into a legal, financial, or logistical nightmare, faster than you can say off-grid. Today, we're going deep into what you really need to know before buying land for your tiny home, because this isn't just about location. It's about survival, legality, and making your tiny life sustainable. Zoning laws can make or break your plan. The first thing most people underestimate is zoning laws. Just because a plot of land is available doesn't mean you can legally live there full-time in a tiny home. Some areas classify tiny homes as RVS, others as accessory dwelling units, and some simply prohibit them entirely. Imagine finding the perfect forest plot, only to discover you need a special variance that costs thousands, or that the county won't issue permits at all. Doing your homework on zoning, building codes, and local regulations is crucial. Otherwise, you might spend months or years fighting for approval while your tiny home sits in limbo. Utilities are not guaranteed. Nothing kills the tiny home dream faster than realizing there's no water, electricity, or sewage hookup. Many cheap or rural plots advertise freedom, quiet, and privacy, but fail to mention that connecting to utilities can cost tens of thousands of dollars, if it's even possible. Some homeowners go fully off-grid, which is amazing in theory. But solar panels, septic systems, and water collection require planning, maintenance, and upfront investment. Without utilities, a dream retreat can quickly feel like camping on steroids, fun for a weekend, exhausting every day. Access and road conditions matter. Before you buy, ask yourself, can a moving truck, delivery van, or emergency services reach your property? Many tiny home plots are tucked away in gorgeous but inaccessible locations, which means snow removal, muddy roads, and limited access during storms can become your daily reality. Imagine buying a forested lot only to spend half your life trying to get the tiny home delivered or to pick up groceries. Road access is often overlooked in the romance of remote living, but it's critical for safety, convenience, and future resale value. Soil and land. Stability are often ignored. Not all land is created equal. The soil type, drainage, and slope of a plot can determine whether your tiny home sits safely or develops problems over time. Wet or unstable soil can cause your home to shift, sink, or require expensive foundation work, and steep slopes might limit where you can legally place your structure. A tiny home looks small, but the foundation still matters. Improper land evaluation can turn your idyllic dream into a costly structural nightmare. Always get a professional land survey and soil test before committing. Legal restrictions on tiny homes. Even if zoning and utilities check out, HOAS, covenants, and deed restrictions can prevent you from placing a tiny home. Some communities outright ban non-traditional housing, mobile homes, or certain building materials. Imagine finally buying that gorgeous lot only to find out the HOA won't allow your eco-friendly prefab or tiny trailer on the property. These restrictions can cost thousands in legal fees or force you to relocate. Tiny home living often promises freedom, but freedom without legal clarity can quickly turn into a headache. Resale and investment considerations. Buying land isn't just about living there, it's also an investment. Some tiny home-friendly plots might be hard to sell later because of zoning, access, or niche appeal. If you decide to move, your property might attract only a small pool of buyers willing to accommodate a tiny home lifestyle. It's essential to consider long-term value, future developments nearby, and market trends to avoid getting stuck with a beautiful but impractical piece of land. Tiny homes can be mobile, but land is permanent, and permanent mistakes can be expensive. Environmental and seasonal challenges. Think about weather, natural hazards, and local wildlife. Flood zones, wildfire-prone areas, or harsh winters can turn your dream property into a survival challenge. Tiny homes offer minimal insulation, and off-grid setups can amplify the impact of environmental challenges. Seasonal changes might make roads impassable, water sources freeze, or power systems struggle. Planning for these realities is crucial if you want a comfortable, year-round tiny home life rather than a weekend camping experiment. Financing and insurance can be tricky. Tiny homes are often treated differently than traditional homes when it comes to loans and insurance, and the same goes for land. Some lenders won't finance land unless there's a permanent structure, and tiny homes on trailers are often considered vehicles rather than homes, affecting insurance premiums. Many first-time buyers underestimate the complexity of securing funding and coverage for both the land and the tiny home. Without proper financing and insurance, your dream property could become a financial liability instead of a lifestyle upgrade. Local community and amenities impact lifestyle. Even if the land itself seems perfect, you have to think about what's around it. Living off-grid or in a remote location sounds peaceful, but it can also mean long drives for groceries, medical care, or even social interaction. Imagine wanting to grab coffee, attend a yoga class, or run errands. What seems like a 5-minute drive in a city could easily become an hour in a remote area. Proximity to schools, hospitals, and emergency services isn't just convenient, it's a safety consideration. If you're planning to live off-grid, you also have to prepare for isolation mentally. Tiny homes give freedom, but freedom without community can sometimes feel lonely or limiting. Future development could change everything. Another thing most tiny home buyers forget is that land doesn't exist in a vacuum. What's quiet and remote today could be a construction zone in 5 years, or a new highway might cut through your serene view. Even zoning can change as towns grow or environmental regulations shift. Imagine waking up to a construction site or a noisy road where your tiny dream retreat used to be peaceful. When buying land, it's crucial to research not only current conditions but also future city or county plans. Your tiny home might feel permanent, but the world around it is constantly changing, and your paradise could transform unexpectedly. Buying land for a tiny home is far more complicated than just picking a pretty spot on a map. From zoning and utilities to access, soil, legal restrictions, environmental hazards, and financing, the challenges are real, but they're manageable if you plan ahead. Tiny homes offer freedom, minimalism, and a lifestyle change, but only if your land is truly ready for you. If this video helped you understand what to check before buying, hit like, subscribe, and comment below with the craziest tiny home land challenge you've heard of. Or tell us your dream location, and we'll discuss whether it's actually tiny home friendly.